So I'm going to be getting ready with you guys, talking about my picks for the Dermstore sale that is going on right now. I'll use a bunch on my face to get ready with you guys. And I also thought I would sprinkle in a couple of Q&A questions as I get ready. I asked you guys over on my Instagram for some questions. If you guys don't follow me over there, I am there when I'm not on YouTube, so feel free to follow me. First of all, I'm going to take off these eye masks that I love so much. So these are actually from Wander. They are actually 25% off during the Dermstore sale, and they are also my favorite. I initially gave some to my younger sister and she tried them, and then she was like, Amanda, do you even realize how good these are? And I tried them and have just been, you know, like amazed. If you deal with puffiness under the eyes in general, if you just feel like your under eyes are a point of contention, if you know, you know. Certainly, I am definitely one of those people. This really helps to really smooth out the area, kind of flatten out any of the hollowness that I have or any of the puffiness, and my under eyes look way more refreshed than they did 15 minutes ago. I do already have moisturizer on, but I do not have sunscreen on, so I am going to go in with the Tula Protect and Glow sunscreen. It is 20% off during the sale. This has pretty much replaced the Supergoop Glow Screen for me. You can see right away that it doesn't have like a tint the way that the glow screen does, but it still offers a really pretty glow to the skin. So I would much rather wear this under makeup. It also has more of a gel texture. I feel like the Supergoop Glow Screen is a little bit creamier on the skin. Much prefer this one if I want you know, like a glowy base product for makeup. By the way, guys, I let you guys know in my last video that I am trying the curly or wavy hair method. I tried it for the first time earlier this week and I think it looked okay. This is the second time and my hair looks way flatter, but also less frizzy. So I don't really know what to make of it. It also feels a little bit greasier. I used more product, so you know, I think that could have helped with the frizz, but ultimately weighed down my hair. Also, the first time, I'll keep with that story, but let's start putting on foundation at least. So this is the Kogendo Aqua, and this is also on sale for 25% off during the Dermstore sale. Okay, I don't have to say that over time. So actually, I used like the bowl method the first time. I initially diffused with very low heat, like pretty much on a cool setting. But the problem with that was my hair did turn out frizzier. I don't know if it was because of not using as much product or if my hair was too damp and not like sopping wet when I went in with the diffuser. I had my head down for the entire time that I was diffusing and my neck was just done with it. I like physically could not do it. Like I have a lot of hair and it is very long, and to expect me to cold diffuse my hair for 20 minutes with my head down, it's just not gonna happen. So I didn't do that today. I diffused just without my head down. And I feel like I notice it. Like I feel like there's not as much volume. You can go check out my last video if you want to see what my hair looked like. By the way, Kogendo Aqua is a foundation that I love. I don't talk about it a lot because it is very expensive and the shade range isn't great. By the way, this is the shade 002. However, it is one of those foundations that is like so freaking beautiful in person and in photography. It's also water-based, so it feels so thin on the skin. You can see you can really build up the coverage, but it does not look heavy. It is just one of those products that has such a good formula. I really don't feel comfortable talking about it unless it's on sale. Like, you know, when you can get 25% off of it, It is definitely a little bit less expensive, obviously. You can see I had that pimple here, and it has pretty much completely covered it just from the foundation and building up layers. But I can't stress that it literally does not look like there's a ton of heavy product right there. So this is like, this foundation's kind of the queen of building on itself while looking super skin-like. I still don't think that there is another foundation in my collection that builds as well as this does in really skin-like thin layers. Oh my gosh, I just realized my lips are freaking dry. If you are someone with a window unit in your room during the summer, and you're a mouth breather, and you're a retainer wearer, it is like a recipe for not a fun time. This one's from Kosas. It's the Plump and Juicy Collagen Lip Boost. It does have a little bit of a plumping thing going on. By the way, do you guys want to see an updated lip plumper video on all of my favorites, the ones that I don't like, all that good stuff? Let me know. This also has the same scent as their lip oils. If you do have a Kosas lip oil, it smells like creamsicle, which I love, like an orange creamsicle. Or, I'm sure some of you will remember these. Remember the Lifesaver Cream Savers that they discontinued? Oh my gosh. If they still made those, I would buy them at least monthly. While I am doing some concealer, let's go ahead and see what you guys are interested in over on Instagram. This is a good question. Favorite lip oil. My favorite lip oils, I really love the In Beauty Lip Glaze oils. I think that they're very, very pretty. Or I should say I have the cherry, the #1 shade, the cherryish shade. But I really enjoy those. And then I also love the Beauty Pie lip oils. But that's a little bit of a cop-out answer because they are actually more of like a liquid lip balm texture, which is just kind of my preference. Okay, I'm going to do my brows and I will be right back. I always like to kind of wait till the end to set my brows, just so there's no like powder flying into them. All right, so let's go into blush. I have the Kjaer Weis Blossoming Blush, which is 25% off. Kjaer Weis is one of those brands that I feel like if you like their blushes, you can definitely get a good deal and get a discount. I can't really get enough of these blushes. They were my favorite of 2021, and in 2022, they are still a favorite. Now you can see I'm literally tapping this in just with my fingers, and it blends seamlessly. It's one of those no fuss, easy to work with cream blush formulas, which is why I tend to recommend it, especially for beginners, because it's just not going to give you issues. I also really like that there isn't too much white base pigment to it. Get the true translucence of the color and the texture. It's so fresh and pretty. They're actually not super dewy either. Here's some just on the back of my hand. You can see that they're more of a natural finish, which I really like. I'm gonna put a little bit on my nose. And I always like to kind of take a little bit up here on my forehead, because this is kind of the area where we get sun. And I just find that it, you know, especially if I'm skipping bronzer, which I don't know if I'll skip bronzer today or not, but I just feel like it really pulls everything together. Don't be afraid to put blush on your forehead. I know that everyone does, you know, puts the blush on their nose. I got made fun of for that back in the day. Now everyone's doing it, and yep, I'm a little bit salty. But here you go. Here's the next thing that you guys can make fun of me for. Again, blush on the forehead. And these are 25% off, by the way. And again, this is the shade Blossoming. Very pretty. Now, this is interesting. How's it going doing YouTube full time? Now, this is something that I have been reflecting on because it has been about a year since I started doing YouTube full time. It is very similar to what I was expecting and anticipating, just because I have been doing YouTube for like 6 years. I know how the video process goes. I know how my process goes, and I haven't really changed a lot since I went full time. Like, the process is still the same, but there are some aspects that do feel a little bit more intensive and different. Certainly new, like new experiences. Number one, when you kind of cross the threshold into it becoming like full time, I think I was kind of expecting myself to put out even more content. By the way, I am actually going to use a little bit of the Saie bronzer. I really like this one, and I'm just going to press it in. I think I had this expectation that I was going to be able to do like 5 videos a week, have like endless content and everything like that. And you know what it actually has turned into? It has turned into me just being able to really just create the content that I want, more or less, when I would like to put out the content. And I mean, I'm essentially talking about a bit of freedom here, but more than that, that freedom has kind of broken me away from this feeling of like, I have to grow in some sort of way. I don't know if I'm explaining this well, but I feel like with more freedom and more time to do the projects that I want, I'm more sure than I've ever been of the vision of what I want and my channel. And I have always believed in staying true to that and really dialing that in over a long period of time, rather than kind of putting a new layer of, I guess, pressure on myself now that I'm full-time, that everything has to be different. You have to do things completely different. I mean, I feel like that's so counterintuitive. I have gotten as far as I have by being okay with a video taking a lot longer, putting out less content, but feeling really good about it. But now I'm kind of just trying to find the balance of, you know, maybe I can do more videos like this where it's not super time intensive, but I can also show my personality a little bit more. And I'll tell you what, that has been something that I'll say right now openly, because I don't even know if I've ever talked about this. That's something that I've always kind of struggled with. At least I feel like that. I'm a really naturally kind of goofy person. I know I don't always show that in my videos. Like, sometimes I have a joke that comes in my head and I'm like, there's no way that anyone would know that joke or like get it. Like, that fear of being misunderstood. You know, I've been doing this for 6 years and it hasn't gone away 100%. So what I'm trying to do right now that I'm full-time and have been for a year, I'm trying to keep my content very consistent with my values, you know, coming out with detail-oriented reviews, value-driven content about makeup that I'm very passionate about, while slowly trying to get more comfortable with videos that are more centered around me. And I would like to show more of that to you guys. So I am hopefully starting to do that. Okay, before I keep blabbing on about this, I am going to go ahead with the Smashbox Always On Cream Shadow. And this one is really good if you want to lock in your eyeshadow look. So you guys know that typically what I'll do to make my eyeshadow more crease proof is I'll put a transition shade that is a very, very budge proof cream shadow into the crease. And then I can add whatever I want on the lid itself and everything still lasts much longer. And I think the problem with adding a color like this all over the lid and then adding a shade on top, if that shade is more glittery or reflective, this can kind of mattify it and you don't really get the true consistency of the product. And that's something that I'm very cognizant of because I really like my lids to still look like skin, and I want typically something very reflective. And what is the discount on this? This is the shade Amber, by the way. It's a very unique shade, and it's 25% off. And this tube will last you. This has definitely lasted me. I feel like I've barely freaking gotten through any of it. Honestly, I kind of love this without a lid color. Like, I'm looking at this, I feel like if I did a little bit of liner, it would be such like a matte neutral look. But I haven't used this in a while. It is on sale right now, so I should probably use it so you guys can get an idea. So it's from Stila. It's the Shimmer and Glow Liquid Eyeshadow. And this isn't super shimmery. This to me is like just a metallic cream shadow. Very similar kind of effect to Oyster Pearl from Charlotte Tilbury, or like the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize, those like classic metallic shades. She has come out with like new shades that have a little bit of a different reflection. But this is the shade Grace. And it is really, really pretty. You know what? This shade is actually kind of similar to Oyster Pearl in some ways. And before I get too far, because I know I'll forget, what is the discount on this baby? I think it was 25% off. And then I'm just gonna use the same brush that I've been using. These brushes from e.l.f., from the Cookies and Dream collection, I still use them all of the time. And by the way, I bought their Total Face Sponge. I think that's what it's called. And I don't like it as much as the Cookies and Dream sponge. So I'm gonna have to go online and stock up on those. Shall we go into the next question as I blend this out? You can see I'm letting this sit and, sorry, did I just flip you off? I'm letting this sit, and I can because it gives you a good amount of time to fuss around with it and play with it. So that's really good. A lot of products do not do that. Okay, this is an interesting one from my sister. Would you rather dye your hair blue for a year or have no eyebrows for a year? I would rather not have eyebrows, and here is why. I have never dyed my hair, and I would be afraid that if I dyed it, I wouldn't be able to get the color back exactly the way it is. Like, I have anxiety about the future of like my hair changing color and getting more gray, and then me possibly wanting to dye it, and then I wouldn't be able to get the color. But yeah, I'm gonna say I would go with no eyebrows. I feel like, you know what? I could figure it out. I'm gonna curl my lashes and then put on the Beauty Pie Uber Volume Boost Mascara. Just my mascara of choice. Do you guys have any mascaras you'd like me to try? I recently bought the one from Patrick Starrr, One Size. I wasn't a huge fan of it. And it looks so pretty, so I was kind of bummed. But I'd like to try out a new one. I was hoping on picking back up the Lash Blast from CoverGirl in brown, because my sister actually said that she picked it up, and now she's obsessed. You know, before I do mascara, I actually am going to use a little bit of the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil just on the outer corners. I think I'm going to go for a little bit of a smokier kind of look. I'm just kind of feeling it. But anyway, question. My sister said, or asked, Italian food or Mexican food? Now, this is a loaded question for me. I do have an answer, and I came up with the answer pretty quickly. So for me, it's Mexican food. I prefer Mexican food. But here's the thing. When I want Italian food, I'm like ravenous. Like, my mom loves Italian food, and I have a feeling that there's like some sort of conditioning in me to be a psycho about Italian food when I want it. Like my mom is. She's so funny. Whenever, so my dad's not like huge into Italian food. Whenever he would go out of town, you knew that it was gonna be a ravioli night, which I personally always looked forward to because it doesn't have to be fancy. I will eat like frozen, boiled cheese ravioli and be completely fine with it. There's definitely like a childhood, like happy childhood memories surrounding that. So I feel like I almost go like lizard brain when it comes to Italian food. But on a regular basis, I'm probably more likely to pick Mexican food. By the way, this is the shade Dark Brown. I really like this jumbo pencil in this shade because it's dark enough, but it's not too stark like the way a black would be. And shall we talk about some other picks from Dermstore? So the Gold Bless line from Orbe is also on sale. I think it was 20% off, right? Yeah, it's 20% off. Do you guys think Orbe is worth it? I have asked you guys about Orbe in the past, and I would be willing to try. I'm also very willing to try some more wavy hair inspired products. So if you're on Dermstore and you see anything that you think I might like, let me know. There really is a bunch of skincare that is on sale right now. I picked out the Ulta MD Restore SPF 40 and it's tinted. If you have my skin tone and you get about a shade and a half darker whenever you self-tan, that sunscreen is like my first go-to for a sunscreen to get everything to match up. As far as Ulta MD sunscreens, I haven't been super impressed except with that one, and it's also completely mineral. The Wander Beauty Double Date eyeshadow, by the way, is something that I think I've seen State of Kate talk about, and it's also on sale, 25% off, so I'm like, I might pick that up. Lastly though, we have to pick out a color to wear on our lips, and these are not on sale during the Dermstore sale. However, they are two of the new Meirt lipsticks. Well, they're new to my collection because Meirt finally restocked. So this is the shade Fashion. I don't think that it goes with this look. Does it? I kind of like it with the shirt, but I don't know if I like it with the eyes. And then the shade Baby, which I have already worn in the last video, and it's freaking perfect. Now I understand why it's always sold out now. You know what? What if okay, Baby with this look, I actually don't like. I think it's too cool. So, what if maybe I'll just do it a little bit more sheerly. If I had done that like neutral matte look with just the Smashbox Amber shade, I feel like it would work. But with the gray shadow from Stila, I don't think it's all going together. Instead, you guys, I'm going to use my e.l.f. light brown liner, which I use all the time. And for lip color, I'm actually going to use this product from Rituelle. It's the Color Nectar Pigment Balm. It's the shade Hummingbird. Just kind of press that in. Almost gives like a blotted kind of lip effect. And because Blossoming is a little bit more of like a peony and doesn't have quite as much of the vibrance of this, I'm just going to add like right on, like not my apple, but right above there. I'm going to add a little bit of Hummingbird. Just to add almost like this little sunburn kind of look to tie everything in together. If you guys want more tips and tricks about placement for cream blush, I'll leave my how to place a cream blush video linked over here, but thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys being here. I'll leave everything that I talked about in today's video linked down below as far as product picks for the Dermstore sale. I hope that you guys are having a good one, and I will see you in my next one.